My friends, we always say that if you want to get away from Seattle but still stay in Washington State, the place that hasn't lost its mind is Bellevue. And one of the reasons Bellevue has not lost its mind is because it is still friendly to the business community. It still says we don't want to tax you out of your house at home. It knows how to deal with homelessness. It's actually a well-run city for the most part. And a lot of that is due to our friend, who is right now the deputy mayor of Bellevue, Ari Nieuwenhuis, and he is running again for re-election on the Bellevue City Council, and he joins us now on the KVI studio line. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thank you, Ari. Always a pleasure.
We love having you because, as I say all the time, you are one of my, if not my favorite politician in Washington State. And that's because not only do we get along as friends, but you also have a common sense approach where you say, hey, public safety is important. Maybe we should emphasize this, right?
I know, crazy, right? Unfortunately, common sense is not always all that common, but we want to keep it here in Bellevue for sure.
Yeah, and it seems also that the business-friendly atmosphere has worked for you guys. So, for example, Amazon picked up its roots out of Seattle, moved on over to Bellevue. It was so successful, as a matter of fact, in doing that now Washington State wants to scare them out of the state. I mean, tax them, right? That's what they want to do? Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%, and that's what worries us. Not only as an individual, but also as a council. So some of the things that we don't have control over, right? Some of those state mandates or state taxes that could impact our business community. You're exactly right. I mean, the reason that Amazon decided to make Bellevue home was because of our business-friendly environment, and we weren't looking to specifically hurt them through different types of taxes, like the payroll tax, right? Or so it's very frustrating when we see those types of taxes being debated down in Olympia that would damage our business environment, and these companies would be looking not only to move away from Bellevue, but you're right on point. They would leave the entire state.
Well, it's also, think about the businesses that rely on those businesses. So if you go to South Lake Union right now, where Amazon used to be, there's a lot of empty storefronts. In Seattle, there's a lot of empty storefronts because all these companies have left. So the barbershops, the grocery stores, whatever it is that opened because it was serving the Amazonians now has gone on over to Bellevue, which is why you guys have full occupancy and Seattle has a massive vacancy rate.
That's right. 100%. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that it's like a whole ecosystem, right? Once you bring some of those major employers, it facilitates and grows a lot of the small businesses to support those larger businesses, and it could be anything from dry cleaning to cafes and restaurants. So all of that there to support that base of employees.
So moving and switching gears for a minute here, you're very lucky so far that the light rail's not up and running in parts of Bellevue. I mean, we keep talking about it going across, but at the same time, you guys have managed to not have the homeless problems of Seattle. As soon as that thing opens, that problem is going to start migrating east. Are you guys prepared for that?
Well, I believe so. I mean, one of my accomplishments that I point to is that not only did I spearhead the budget initiative to fully fund our Bellevue Police Department, but also we grew the headcount of our officers, and I'm really proud of the new light rail police unit that I was able to get over the finish line and create. Because just for that reason, Ari, we didn't want to take any chances. We wanted to make sure that if you're taking light rail in Bellevue, that you're going to be safe, no matter what time of day that you're taking light rail. We want you to feel safe and be safe. When I started digging into some of the response times around Seattle and some of the other outlying areas, it was really concerning. Unfortunately, King County has some limitations there, and personally, I don't think you can always count on that private security to really be there for an individual or for a family if things go south. So that is our way of being very proactive to ensure that when light rail does open up in Bellevue, and it is open now, but it only goes to Redmond, right? So not that much happens.
Yeah.
But when we do go across the lake, we want to ensure that the families are staying safe when they're taking light rail.
Yeah, I think that's a great approach, and unfortunately, a lot of other places in King County don't have that approach. In the last few minutes we have with Ari Nieuwenhuis, who is the deputy mayor of Bellevue, running for re-election on the Bellevue City Council. Good good personal friend of the show and just an all-around great guy. There's something that's very important to me that you have been very effective at, and that's combating anti-Semitism. Bellevue was the first city, if I'm not mistaken, in Washington State to pass the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition of anti-Semitism. Unfortunately, a lot of other places fought it kicking and screaming because it calls out anti-Semitism as anti-Semitism with no caveats on anything else. And you took a lot of heat for that, but you did it for a really personal reason, and I'd love for you to share it with everybody.
Oh, sure. No, correct. We were able to pass the IRA definition of anti-Semitism, and this was before October 7th, when we already saw anti-Semitism rates, going to levels that this country hasn't seen since the 1970s. But, the personal story is just, I'm a first-generation American. My parents immigrated to the United States from the Netherlands, and, as a young kid, as a child, going back, hearing the stories that I heard of Nazi occupation, what it did in terms of decimating and the horrific things that happened to Jewish families throughout the Netherlands. Just those stories just stayed with me, Ari. The stories that I heard that even today, people can point to homes. They were good. They hid the Jews from the Nazis. This house here, well, they collaborated with the Nazi, and that stain is still on them. Those stories are still being told. So I've always just been committed to never again. And when I see, even before October 7th, but even more after October 7th, when we see so much hate, disinformation, and unfortunately, there's a lot of uneducated students, not just here locally, although the University of Washington is a pretty good example of it, but throughout the country, where Jewish students are having to hide who they are, being physically blocked from going to class. I just never thought I would see that in the United States of America, and unfortunately, here we are. And I'm more than willing to put my political capital, my position as a leader in this community to push back against this type of hate, because nobody should be blocked from going to school or being who they want to be or who they truly are. It is despicable, and I just won't stand for it.
And this is why we love you so much, and this is why we fully support you, and this is why you should fully support Jared Nieuwenhuis for his reelection campaign in Bellevue. You can go to his website, which is jaredforbellevue.com. That's jaredforbellevue.com. Donate, volunteer, help him out. He's one of the very, very few with my full endorsement without any reservations whatsoever. He's not one of these people you have to go, well, the other guy's a little bit more right or a little bit more left or right. No, he has my full endorsement. He should have yours as well. Jared Nieuwenhuis, thank you so much for being with us today. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Ari. Appreciate it.